Hello, guys, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, your weekly audio source of all things World Wonder Ring Stardom. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin. I'm joined as ever by Mr. Matt Turner. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 300 of the Stardom Cast. I parachute in for the big episodes. I'm basically like Io Sky in Marigold, Matt Turner.
Yeah, you're Roman Reigns. You know, he only shows up
I
every
am.
other week to promote the big match at WrestleMania. And
Acknowledge me.
That's right. I'll be the CM Punk and just do all the fancy promo stuff just to make sure everything's on the up and up. But yeah, we've had a few of our listeners did notice that our annual Cinderella Bracket Tournament happens to be episode 300. Did we plan it? No. A lot of times we just get lucky. So congratulations, brother. 300 episodes and counting. So that's just the Stardom Cast. That's not just the Patreon stuff, the stuff on Talk Joshi, the Marigold Standard, the extra bonus episodes. That's just 300 episodes of Stardom Cast, normal podcasting. The fact we have not gotten thrown off air yet, Rob Goodwin, just goes to show you that we are two lucky individuals, brother. We're lucky individuals.
It's impressive when you consider some of the stuff we come out with on these podcasts. But no, it's great to be back. I'm massively looking forward to this episode, Matt. I said to you before I went on air that I haven't really looked at the bracket. I haven't filled one out at all for the specific purpose of doing it on the podcast. And now I am massively regretting that. But there are good things to talk about. Obviously, a 32-person field. So Stardom already are up in my book rather than 23 or 27 people, which they tried to fit in a bracket in 2020. That was absolute carnage, that bracket, with buys left, right, and center, and then all sorts. But no, a nice round 32-person bracket with no buys or anything like that. Straight up 32 people. We've got some big hitters in there. Sioriano, we've got Natsupoi in there, Rina, Xena, I'm really glad to see in there, Hanan, Sayarida, and obviously the two previous winners, Hanan and Sayaka Kurora. We suppose we need to talk a little bit about the press conference as well, because the press conference was beautiful madness. Aya Sakura stole the show with her Cinderella sort of transformation. She said she's going to clean every inch of the building until she is ready to transform into Cinderella. You got some absolutely outstanding outfits. I was half tempted to text you and ask for Andy Hedder's best dressed at the Cinderella Tournament press conference, but I did forget because it's me and I forget everything.
We'll do it. But we'll do it. Yeah. Once we get done with this episode, I will send him the link to the tour, the press conference, and I'm going to tell him, when you get a chance, you need to tell us who is the best dressed at the Cinderella Tournament, because it's the gown. It's who's going to wear the gown. That's a great. Well, that's a cliffhanger, folks. Obviously, this episode 1, Rob is back. 2, episode 300. 3, more shenanigans from Team Matt and Rob. 4, Rob, I'm going to tell you a funny story that happened to me last weekend, because again, we haven't talked on air in quite some time, so I got to tell you about my shenanigans. And 5, the cliffhanger of who Andy Hedder will vote for best dressed in the Cinderella press conference. We'll have that to you next week when we review nights 1, 2, and 3 of this tournament, because don't forget, the first 3 nights are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So no rest for the wicked, as the old Ozzy Osbourne album will tell you.
Absolutely. It's going to be brilliant. And I must admit, again, Stardom are already sort of, again, 2 up, I suppose. 1 up for giving us a 32-person actual bracket, and 1 up again because we're not having every single first round match on the opening night, which is brilliant. We are getting one side of the bracket on the 6th, so tomorrow as you are listening to this, and one side of the bracket on the 7th. So again, just it seems that they are listening, Matt Turner, or maybe just common sense is prevailing. One of the two.
Well, you learn from your mistakes, and obviously, as good as night 1 of the 5-star Grand Prix was last year, it was hindered by so many matches, and a lot of matches were cut short for time. And we've seen throughout the years, 2021, 2022, 2020, I think even 2019, they divided up into 2 nights, a Friday, Saturday, a Saturday, Sunday. And hopefully, obviously, that's what we're getting with the Cinderella Tournament. Hopefully that's what we're getting with this year's 5-star Grand Prix, because I have no problem with the 5-star Grand Prix being as many competitors this year as it was last year, because clearly it worked. And every show was really good. It just night one is for years is always one of the best shows of the year. But it was like so long, and a lot of those matches got cut for time that we're like, what would a Tora versus Azumi actual 10, 11-minute match look like? We didn't know because it went like 3 minutes. So hopefully that's what they do this year for the 5-star Grand Prix. This I think is going to be a hit because the tickets I believe are sold out for nights 1 and night 2.
I saw that they were sold out for night 1 and they weren't selling any walk-up tickets, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty close, but I know Korakuen, it looks like they sold a little more than half the tickets. I'm sure they'll get a lot of walk-up business. And then once we know who's in that third round, I'm sure
I imagine that'll be what it is.
The tickets will go quick. So again, if this format works, and again, from a tickets and a business standpoint, it is working. They're just going to copy an A and get an A and do it for the 5-star Grand Prix. The one thing I wanted to point out real quick, partner, before I forget, not a pay-per-view. Night one of the Cinderella Tournament.
I was going to ask about that.
It's always been a pay-per-view.
I imagine the finals will be.
Yeah, and my guess is they're going to put a title match on there. More on that.
Well, I was going to ask you about this because obviously I've been off the podcast, sort of, traveling, learning more about myself, becoming one with that. I haven't at all. Though I am going. I meant to tell you actually, I am going to not your neck of the woods, but your birthplace, in a manner of speaking. Me and Kirsty were supposed to go to Italy, because this was prior to COVID, and then COVID put a kibosh on that. So 6 years later, me and Kirsty are actually going to Italy. So that's nice. We're going at the end of the month. So I'll be able to tell you all about the wonderful places in Rome, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, good. That is one. I believe one of our when Amber and I do our non-wrestling traveling, when it's not Japan or England for non-wrestling. Yeah, Italy is number one on our list because that's where my wife's ancestors are from, and that's where my family is from. So we were supposed to have a big reunion before. Like I think it's supposed to be like 20 of us go on my mom's side of the family, like going over for a whole big thing, and then COVID happened, and that could put the kibosh to that. Yeah. So I'm excited for you to go over to Italy. Yes, we definitely need a full report, my friend.
I will. Report. It will literally just be me and Kirsty eating pizza, cheese, and pasta. That will literally be our entire journey, and I hope everyone is ready for me to just go, yeah, the pizza's quite good in Italy.
Yeah, well, I'll enjoy safe travel. How long of a flight is that for you? That's really not. I think it's
not long. I think it's Kirsty did say this, and in typical Rob fashion, I've completely forgot. I think it's about 3 hours. It's not a massively long flight for us at all. About three and a bit hours, I think.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome, buddy. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad that you're rested. And I'm glad that we're back talking. I mean, again, this is a great way to come back, episode 300, and really from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys for all the support. Really crazy. Absolutely. 300, really kind of just finding our stride here. And the Cinderella Tournament, Rob, is always a fun tournament because you never know which way it's going to go because you have that over the top rope rule, single elimination. You don't know if you're going to get some double eliminations. You don't know over the top rope if there's going to be a bye in the second, third, or fourth round. I always enjoy doing these bracketologies with you, especially obviously Kirsty has her bracketology. Andy Header sent in his final four. My wife, literally, just as I was getting on, she dropped hers off here. But Rob, before we get into the shenanigans, that is our annual Cinderella Tournament primer, I need to tell you about some offbeat shenanigans that I did this weekend. Now, I usually start off these episodes with some wild, not the smartest Matt Turner stuff to do. And obviously I haven't podcasted you in about 3 or 4 weeks. So long story short, because obviously I want to get into this with you. Long story short, notice since I came back from Japan, I put a few pounds on. I lost a lot of weight when we were over there because portions were smaller, a lot of walking, no carbs. I came back shredded.
Literal days where we just didn't eat till like 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
I came back shredded. So when I graduated high school, I was like 140 pounds. When I graduated wrestling school at Ring of Honor, I was $155. I've always tried to get over 200. So I got there a couple years ago, and I'm about 205, 206 is what I walk around at. Usually the holidays is a little bit more because of the great food and a lot of heavy beer. So again, we came back from Japan, and I actually lost 7 pounds. I was like, okay, I look good, but let's try to put that muscle back on. Yeah, I gained 11 pounds back in about 5 weeks. So I was like, okay, I'm at the gym every day. Diet, not the best, not the actual best. So I had like 6 or 7 days where I was doing really, really good with the diet. Felt good. I always feel pretty good, but trying to feel better, just try and be the best I can be every day.
Sure.
So Saturday, Elimination Chamber's on. I'm like, I'll watch that. But I forgot Amber had she had a church thing to do, so she's out the door for a couple hours. I was like, I'm gonna have a couple glasses of sake, Rob. Kind of big on the sake since our Japan trip in Japan. Well, I had 3 cups, 3 pretty big cups, and I got mic'd. I got a little mic'd. Now, what does one do when they're drunk? They eat, and
They
not like you're
do.
eating chicken breast and asparagus.
No.
No, I had a giant plate of nachos with extra
Amazing.
cheese, and then I
Yes.
washed that down with a giant bowl of Fruit Loops. Yes.
Yeah. Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I didn't realize I
Yeah.
woke up the next morning and then I realized like what I wasn't like completely hammered, like I knew where I was at. I was just really buzzed and I was like, yeah, all that hard work, Matt, all that hard work. Couple glasses of sake, and you literally chased a giant plate of nachos down with a giant bowl of Fruit Loops. So yeah, that's that. And maybe I needed that to get through the elimination chamber.
Yeah, I've heard it wasn't the best pay-per-view. But then again, I suppose they haven't exactly been knocking them out of the park recently, have they? So
It's very much like the Royal Rumble. The first few matches were good, and the last few matches were just maybe you should have switched it. Maybe they should put the women's on or put Punk on last. It was his hometown, and he came out to the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls entrance from the '90s, which popped me because I love Michael Jordan. But that's what obviously I know we've been texting back and forth, but that's what your buddy's been up to, my friend. The usual. Nothing's changed.
love that, because that's pretty much going to be my diet. I feel like over this weekend. Yeah, I will be, by the way, at Pro Wrestling Eve's show on the Friday and indeed the Sunday as well. So we'll have full reports of Syuri and Azumi's exploits in London, as well as Miyu Yamashita and Dash Chisako are on these shows as well. Miyu Yamashita versus Jamie Hayter tomorrow night, which is quite the singles match. And then, of course, we are seeing Syuri versus Alex Windsor 2 Electric Boogaloo for the New Japan Strong Women's title. So that's going to be really exciting on the Sunday.
Real quick, buddy, what time does the show start on Friday, your time? So I'm trying to time it out.
8 o'clock, so it will be 3 o'clock your time.
Okay, I should be. I have an interview, special interview, folks, to be on your Patreon feed sometime on Friday. You know,
I was like, really? Oh no, right? No, I do know. Yes, I did know that.
So I'm not saying who it is because it's card subject to change, and then I'm recording with Header. I think at 5. Figure it out. I'm sure they have an on-demand rewind pause button, sir.
Oh, I'm sure they do. They're going to be great shows. Both cards are absolutely stacked. I believe Syuri and Sapphire Reed are taking on Azumi and Alex Windsor on the Friday, and then you've got those two broken up into singles matches on the Sunday. So you've got obviously the former Dakota Kai. She's taking on Chris Statlander. You've got Willow Nightingale on the card. You've got Harley Cameron on the card. All sorts of things. So very, very, very exciting times. Anyway, Matt, let's get on with the Cinderella Tournament. Just want to remind everyone, because Stardom have released the rules. First and second round then, 15-minute time limits. So I believe that's up from last year. I think last year was only 10. Over the top rope rules apply. Draw eliminates both wrestlers. However, in terms of the quarterfinals and the semifinals, so the Korakuen Hall shows, no time limit. Okay, still over the top rope. Draw still eliminates both wrestlers. And then, the final on the 15th at Yokohama Budokan, no time limit, and over-the-top rules apply. So we have still got the over-the-top rule in the final at Yokohama Budokan, according to Stardom's official English Twitter page. So again, those are your rules. 15-minute time limit up until the quarterfinals, and then it is no time limit. But expect some of these matches to last sub 3 minutes, especially when you've got Saki Kashima in this bracket. Matt, Shall we delve straight into this? Shall we go and have a look at the bracket itself? So, obviously, we know that our first round matchups have been announced. So, on one side of the bracket, just to remind those that haven't seen it, or for the audio listeners who aren't watching this on YouTube, Hanan and Momo Kogo, Waka Tsukiyama and Ron Yagami. The Ito Respect Army implodes. Maki Ito versus Kikyo Furusawa. Maki Ito's reaction to that at the press conference was hilarious. Sioriano versus Fuwa-chan. That's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited for that. Ayasakura and Fukigen Death, because of course Fukigen Death is the heir apparent to the Cinderella throne. Hanako versus Uriah Hime. Yuna Mizumori versus Rian. Natsupoi versus Tabata from CMLL. On the other side of the bracket, so those matches that I've just gone through, they are going to happen on the 6th of March at Shinichi Hall in Nagoya. These matches will take place on the 7th in the same venue. Saki Kashima versus Sayaka Kurara. Obviously, Sayaka Kurara, the reigning Cinderella tournament winner after last year. Tomoka Inaba versus Ann Kanai. Akira Kuragane versus Rina. B. Priestley making her return to the Cinderella tournament bracket against Amis Sori. Hina versus Xena. Lady C versus Azusa Inaba. Their interaction at the press conference was hilarious. Lady C absolutely had me in bits, as she did with Tomoka Inaba as well, who really struggled to keep a straight face. Miyu Amasaki versus Rina Yamashita. Saya Ida versus Kyoka Kotatsu. So, Matt Turner, with a certain sense of trepidation, as this is genuinely one of the most stressful episodes because I overthink it, go all around the weekend. At this moment, I still have no idea who I'm putting as my winner. I've got some ideas, but I don't know who's winning. And I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to get to the quarterfinal on one of the sides, and my head's going to fall off. It really, really is. But let's get started. Let's start talking about some of these first round matches. So what we'll do is we'll ask Matt for his winner, we'll ask for my winner, we'll ask for Amber's winner, and then Kirsty's winner, and then we'll go through all the matches like that until we have the brackets filled out. I'll post these brackets on Twitter as well, and you can say who has the best bracket and why it's not me or Matt who actually watched this product. Honestly, Kirsty's managed to fluke her way to a decent winner again, and I don't know how she's done it. Anyway, this opening matchup on the 6th, Hanan versus Momo Kogo. Obviously, Hanan, prior winner in 2024. Matt Turner, does she go on to the second round in your bracket?
I do. I have Hanan getting the win. However, I would not be heartbroken if I get this one wrong because my love for one Momo Kogo. But I do have Hanan moving forward to the second round, my friend.
Yeah, it's difficult to see Momo Kogo going through. I'd like to see her go through. We don't have a lot in the way of big hitters, but we've got obviously more than the last couple of years where it's been sort of aimed more at your lower mid card and rookies. Obviously, Hanan's a big hitter. Sioriano's a big hitter. Natsupoi is a big hitter. B. Priestley is a big hitter as well. Sayarida, I think, is also a big hitter.
Fukigen Death.
Obviously, goes without saying, obviously. Let's pick one, and literally I can't decide. How bad's that? So unprofessional. Look, my heart says Momo Kogo because, again, I'd love to see her get the spotlight. My head says Hanan. It would not surprise me if this is one of the ones that goes to a time limit draw and ends up with both women eliminated, or a double over the top rope or some kind of schmoz. For the sake of this, I am going to say Hanan. But again, same as you, Matt, I can see this going either way. Again, and that's the beautiful thing about the Cinderella tournament. You can have big hitters lose and it not affect them in any way because you've always got the fallback of that over the top rope elimination. I remember in 2021, I think it was one of the only matches that Julia lost. So again, it's worth pointing out that does sort of protect a couple of the wrestlers, and I think it will be how a couple of these go out, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Matt, moving on to the lovely Amber. Who has she got winning this match?
She has Hanan winning as well. She has Hanan going through. But as you mentioned before, buddy, we always have those bracket busters. You don't know if it's going to be match 1, match 7, tomorrow night. Like, you don't know which way it's going to go, but Amber does have Hanan going through as well.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, don't be surprised if we get to the end of the 6th and our entire bracket is wrong, because that has genuinely happened before.
I'm looking forward to it.
2023 was it 2023 when Mirai won it for a second year in a row, and like we got to, I think, the 3rd round and we got nobody left that we'd picked. Like every single person we'd picked had been eliminated.
It was Mirai, Waka. It was Mirai and Sakurai in the finals.
Yeah,
And I
it
think
was
Waka was
Mirai, Koguma.
Koguma. That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
And
it
it was
was.
like, I would give money to the person that had that Final Four. I would give a lot of money to the person who had Mirai winning it back to back. Kirsty has more faith in the Peach than we do. She has gone for Momo Kogo. And do you know what? It's about time someone had some faith. Yeah, we're screwed. Honestly, Momo Kogo is going to win that match, and I'm just going to lie on the floor and cry. Waka Tsukiyama versus Rana Yagami, then, Matt. Who have you got here?
Another one, we've seen Waka getting those quick roll-ups, my friend. We have seen Waka getting those quick roll-ups, but they've been putting a lot of steam on Rana Yagami. That could be a left herring. Again, it's the beauty of the Cinderella tournament. I have Rana getting the win here. But again, I don't see this one going too long, but this one might be a blink and you miss it. But I got Rana going into the 2nd round.
I love Waka. She's had her big run in the Cinderella tournament. Obviously, that win over Nanae Tagashi at New Blood Premium, which seems like an absolute age ago. And then she had that run through to the semifinals. I think she's had that run. Rana Yagami is someone with a huge amount of upside and a lot of time to progress in this company, and I think this could really be a platform for Rana. So I've gone for Rana as well. But again, you're absolutely right with Waka sort of looking at the high-speed division as a place for it to call her own for a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a quick roll-up win for Waka here. Amber, who has she gone for?
She's going with the Hurricane Rana. See what I did there? Why didn't she do a Hurricane Rana? It's right there. You know?
Doesn't really fit with the vibe, does it really? The beat striker, but she also does a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, why not? Look at Sariyama Yoka. Like, she's like Lucha Sariyama Yoka now.
She is Lucha Seri, absolutely. Serisaurus. No. Waka Tsukiyama and Rana. Kirsty has Waka. Again, she has more faith. She has more faith. I swear she just looked at my bracket and went, nah, you're all right. This one's a really interesting one. Maki Ito versus Kikyo Furusawa. Matt, what have you got here?
This is the easiest one to predict. If I'm going to get one right on the whole entire night one, I am putting my mortgage payment down on Maki Ito. They're not bringing in Maki Ito, who is you have to remember too, folks. Like, obviously there's a surprise aspect here, but it's a business. They need to sell out Corkin Hall again, which I'm sure they will. Maki Ito is on that Corkin show, still in the Cinderella tournament. It's going to boost ticket sales. Maki Ito's a proven ticket drop. Look at all the Corkins since she's been there. It's an uptick there. Maki Ito is going to win this one. Again, I would bet a mortgage payment on this one. I got Maki Ito getting the win, which I know you're going to ask me, what about Amber? This is the first time I'm seeing a bracket. She's got Kikyo for, hold on. Han, you really got Kikyo winning? Sorry. Yeah, she got Kikyo for Furusawa beating Maki Ito.
Wow. I must admit, I have got Maki Ito going deep in this tournament for the exact same reason as you. She's the first person in ages that isn't a foreign talent that had the hype of video packages and things like that before her reveal. I think they want her to be this merch machine. They want her to be someone that they can really get behind, that can connect with the crowd. I think she's been doing a really good job. I'm really enjoying the Ito Respect Army. I think it will be lots of shenanigans in this match. I expect at least 2 bouts of crying in this match per woman. But yeah, I've got Maki Ito going deep in this tournament. So obviously Amber, you've already said, has gone for Kikyo Furusawa, as has Kirsty, because she's nothing if not oppositional. So there we go. One of the matches of the tournament. This for me is probably the match I'm most looking forward to in round one, just looking down that bracket. Hina and Xena, I think, is another one. Lady C and Azusa Inaba. I think Miyu, Amasaki, and Rina Yamashita could do some really good stuff as well, given the time. But this is one that I'm really, really excited for. Matt, Soriano, and Fua-chan. What are your thoughts here?
This is the hardest one for me to predict. Fua-chan's been doing amazing work. She survived a near-death experience against Spark Rush on the last Cork and Hall show.
Yeah, absolutely. Death by fire. Birth of fire.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And she was great there. Soriano is she's a massive star. I mean, helped sold out Sumo Hall, breaking records. Where I got tripped up on this one is the winner of this wrestles Maki Ito in Cork and Hall, and they laid the seeds for something with Maki Ito and Soriano. So I looked at that. And then I kind of said, I think that they want to build that up more than just on 2 days' notice.
Yeah.
So I think couldn't they do it there in Corkin, and will it quickly sell tickets? Sure. But I think that's something that's going to get a bigger build in 2 days. And that's the reason why I picked Fua-chan. This is the toughest one for me to predict. Just kind of a flip of a coin here for me, but I have Fua-chan advancing in this one.
I have the exact same. I have Fua-chan. Simply because, again, similarly to Maki Ito, she's a commodity that Stardom have invested in. And even though, again, it's Fua-chan, you wouldn't necessarily think much about it if she loses to Soriano of all people. This is where what I was talking about in terms of big hitters losing a match and it not really affecting them because it's a Cinderella and you've got that over the top rope rule. This is one where I can see that taking effect. I don't think for a minute Fua-chan is pinning Soriano. Even though Soriano has proved this year that she doesn't mind taking pinfalls, I don't think Fua pins Soriano, but I do think she'll win via over the top rope or via count out or something like that. I think there'll be shenanigans there. There is also the sort of flip side of this where it could be a double count out. I just don't think Soriano advances. I don't think Soriano needs the Cinderella, to be perfectly honest. But I think it's a case of, with the amount of talent they have got missing on the 6th with Micah, Starlight and Maesera all in CMLL. You've got Azumi and Syuri all, in the UK for the weekend. Hazuki just not in the tournament, because why would you put Hazuki in the tournament? I said Stardom were 2 up in my eyes. That's a point deducted.
Not bitter at all, guys. He's not bitter at all.
Absolutely not bitter.
I'll say this, buddy. The fact that Hazuki's not in this tournament, you took 1 point off. That goes to show you have grown over this past month. But I'm glad that your meditation, you found yourself healing.
Absolutely,
buddy.
Absolutely. No Hazuki, but we did have room for Tabata. Anyway, definitely not bitter, and no shade at Tabata. She didn't book herself.
She's great. Oh my goodness, she's been great on these
fantastic.
shows. I'm so
she's
excited.
Been really, really good. And I think the CMLL partnership has been really, really good as well. But also, Hazuki and Koguma are the only 2 wrestlers on the roster not in this tournament that aren't injured. And aren't like Konami or Saya Kamatani or the big hitters. Anyway, I'm not bitter.
Anywho, we're going to move on. My wife,
who did Amber have?
Soriano. She's got Soriano advancing.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if this just ends up being a Soriano steamroller job, but I think that this is a chance to really put more of a spotlight on Fua-chan. And I don't think, like I said, Soriano needs this tournament. I think she's a star in her own right. It's not a case of she needs that springboard anymore. She already held the white belt. She's challenged for the red belt, and I don't think it'll be the last time she challenges for it. Kirsty, by the way, has also gone Fua-chan as well. I think it's the first one we've actually got that's the same. Moving on then. This is the easiest one for me, I'll be perfectly honest. Aya Sakura versus Fukigen Death. And as Fukigen Death is going to win the entire tournament, this is a really easy one, Matt.
You know what? From what I understand, and late breaking news from nobody is that it doesn't matter because the finals are going to be blank versus Fukigen Death. Fukigen Death gets a bye into the finals automatically. So again,
makes
that's
sense.
been reported by nobody. Aya Sakura is going to win this. She's my pick to win because she is there's like 6 people that I really think that can win this. Hanan, Aya, Sayaka Kurora, Natsupoi's got a shout. I think Miyu has got an opportunity. We're gonna, as we get towards the end here, I'm gonna say why I think this person could win. But I think Aya Sakura has a shot of winning this whole entire thing. Can she get rolled up in 90 seconds by Fukin Death? Yes, we've seen it. Don't think it's going to
We run that risk with every opponent, in fairness.
You're not kidding. But I think Aya Sakura is going to make a nice little run in this tournament, make a bigger name for herself than she already has. So I have Aya Sakura going to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely the same with me. There's ones ordinarily you see that Stardom are putting more of a story behind certain wrestlers heading into the tournament. I feel like Aya Sakura is one of those people, especially as she has the sort of chance to face Hanako in the next round, and that's a feud we've been building up towards again, even though both women are edging very, very close to their eligibility for the Future of Stardom Championship. I've got a feeling that Aya might win the belt off Hanako just to hold it for a day. We've seen that before. Mina Shirakawa held the belt for 13 days before she dropped it to Unagi in a match, but I think she was only eligible for another 2 days before she dropped it anyway. But I think Aya wins this. She's, as I've mentioned, someone that they have put an actual sort of story and emphasis and focus on heading into this tournament. So I'm going Aya Sakura. Amber.
Aya Sakura as well.
Okay. And obviously, Kirsty is the only one with any faith in Queen Cloud. And therefore, Fukigen Death is moving on to Kirsty's second round. And do you know what? I feel actually a little bit ashamed that I don't have more faith in Fukigen Death after all that she's done for us. But I have to go with my head because it served me so well in Cinderella tournaments past.
You got last year's right, and the year before.
We all got last year's right.
Last year was an easy one.
Last year, everybody knew Sayaka Gorora was winning it. We move on then to Hanako versus Yorihime. Matt Turner, who have you got here?
I think this is going to be the first bracket buster in the first round. I know a lot of people have Hanako going really far in the tournament. Okay. I think this is one you're going to see an upset, and this will lead to Hanako versus Yorihime. It was about 2 weeks ago. I forget where which show it was, but it was Hanako in a tag across the ring from Yorihime, and they teased a future Stardom Championship match afterwards. I think this is where it may lay. I know we do have the possibility of Aya and Hanako, and that's a possibility where they go, but I think this will be a nice little springboard to get Uriah maybe a future of Stardom Championship shot here. So I think Yorihime is going to get the win here. Probably the over-the-top rope rule. But I think this will be the first big upset of the first round with Yorihime getting a win. How sure am I? Really not, but that's the whole fun of this tournament, good sir.
It's a coin flip. I've gone Hanako simply because of what I said before about their building a match again between Aya Sakura and Hanako. Pardon me. There will be chances for Yorihime to have not only a Cinderella tournament run, but also a chance at the Future of Stardom Championship. I just don't feel like it's her year this year. Famous last words when she goes on and wins the whole thing. Make sure you clip that. But I do think Hanako wins here, only because, again, if you look in the next round, that means that she's opposite Aya Sakura, and I think that's that'll be something that Stardom are actively working towards. Amber?
Amber has Hanako taking the win here.
And I believe Kirsty does as well. So there you go.
Island of myself. You'll all be laughing at me. Come tomorrow morning.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Maybe. Moving on then. Yuna Mizumori and Rian. This was an interaction that had me in stitches as well during the press conference with. Did you see this?
That one I did see, buddy. I was just I know that the press conference started as I was at the gym. So in between sets, I was kind of just seeing what the matchups were. And this one was out of all the little interactions, at least on my Twitter feed, maybe it's the Rianators and the fact I love pineapple. Maybe it's a combination of both. It was this one got retweeted the most. So I did see this one. I thought this one was terrific with Rian drinking the Strong Zero. And then I think, did she try to give some to Yuna?
Yeah, Yuna just had plain pineapple juice, and they had a drinking contest. Yuna absolutely annihilated it because hers wasn't alcoholic, and Rian was just, I don't care. She's in this Cinderella dress over the top of her normal clothes. Fantastic. I love Rian. She's absolutely brilliant. Micah would be so proud. That's all I'm saying. But it is Yuna Mizumori, your current high-speed champion, against Rian. Matt Turner. I know who I'm going for. Who are you going for?
The fans are going to win this one because obviously everybody
Absolutely.
loves Rian. Yuna Mizumori is crazy over. This is one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most in round one. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a double over the top rope, but listen, if you don't come to the press conference wearing a Cinderella dress over your clothes, what? Drinking a strong zero, what? Stone Cold Rion is taking this one, my friend. I believe last year's press conference is where Stone Cold Rion was born. I think that's when she started drinking the beer. So
Yes, it
1 year
was.
anniversary.
Counting it in one, yeah.
Stone Cold Rion getting the win here, but I'm so excited for this one. I'm a massive fan of both these ladies.
You don't become an honorary Rianator by saying that she's going out in the first round, do you? So I'm also going Rian, simply because she downed that Pineapple Strong Zero like an absolute champion. So, yeah, Rian goes through as well for me. Amber, who did she have?
Was it a Pineapple Strong Zero? I couldn't find those. I found like
It was
lemon.
either a Pineapple Strong Zero or a Pineapple Sours.
Oh man, if I would have found a Pineapple Strong Zero, I would have got
been Mica'd the entire week.
Yeah, you're not kidding, buddy. Amber has Stone Cold Rion getting the win here.
Of course, as has Kirsty. I believe that might be our first full house, which of course means that Yuna Mizumori is going to be winning that. It does also set up, and this is something we haven't said, does set up Rian for an opportunity at the High Speed Championship as well, should she win that. I think Yuna gets a win back there, obviously, but I think it's a good way. And that's what this tournament's all about. Elevating talent that doesn't necessarily get the spotlight when you've got the Saya Kamatanis, the Starlight Kids, and, you know, the Natsupois, the Siorianos on the card. Natsupoi versus Tabata then for the final show that's taking place on the 6th. Matt Turner, who do you have and why is it Natsupoi?
Yeah, my guess this will probably be the main event because as far as work rate wise, everything looks great, but I think this one's going to blow it out of the water. This is great. Be great. Tabitha's been again phenomenal in these multi-person matches we've seen over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Natsupoi, it's a slightly above average wrestler, so you think it'll be okay. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this one, but this one is a little bit easier for me to predict. Natsupoi getting the win. You don't have Natsupoi tease by saying, hey, me and Shingo, we didn't get a chance to have our wedding celebration because we're both busy. So if I win the Cinderella tournament, it's basically going to be on Bushi Road. Like we're going to have Bushi Road pay for and that'll be a good plug for both New Japan and Stardom if that's the way they go. Another reason why maybe Natsupoi might win because it's good publicity and Natsupoi is great. And maybe that's how we get Natsupoi back to the red belt picture scene. Regardless, you don't tease that and have Natsupoi go out in the first round. Have stranger things happen? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Is a possibility I'm wrong? Maybe. But anywho, I got Baipoi winning this one. And again, a match I cannot wait to see tomorrow morning.
SummerSlam 1991, eat your heart out. The match made in heaven. Yeah, I've gone for Natsupoi as well. I think, again, she goes deep in this tournament. She's one, certainly, for me, that is in consideration to win the whole thing. I know that I said with Sioriano, I know I'm sort of contradicting myself here, but I know I said with Sioriano that she doesn't necessarily need the Cinderella tournament. I don't think Natsupoi needs the Cinderella tournament, but I think the gimmick of Cinderella suits Natsupoi a little bit better. We know that there is a story there with Saya Kamatani should they want to push her back towards the red belt scene. I think Natsupoi goes deep in this tournament. Again, I imagine this will main event. I imagine it will either be this, potentially Hanan and Momokogo, but I imagine it will probably be this match. And it will be great as well. Amber, who has she gone for? I think I probably know who she's gone for.
She's got Natsupoi as well.
Yeah. Isn't Natsupoi her favorite wrestler for Stardom?
Was until she joined with Tam.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's
she's big on Saya Kamatani. I think I told you, Saya Kamatani and Shiri was her favorite match of the entire time we were there in Japan. She's a massive fan of Saya Kamatani. Another reason why I will apologize for my rant on Saya Kamatani over 2 years ago. And by the way, I'm wearing her hoodie. But no, that's Amber's. It used to be Natsupoi. When I told the Natsupoi joined Tam, like that was like she's dead to me.
I mean, to be fair, it is a war crime teaming with Tam, isn't it? Let's be perfectly honest.
How dare you, sir?
It is akin to one. Natsupoi into Tabata for Kirsty. Kirsty had Tabata going through. She has faith in Tabata. So those are your matches for the 6th of March. We now move on to the 7th, and we start with the match between Saki Kashima and Sayaka Kurara. Obviously, Sayaka, last year's Cinderella champion. Matt, who do you have here?
Well, I want to talk about this with you, my friend, because I've been talking about this the last week or two on the podcast.
I imagine I know what you want to talk about here.
The internet is a buzz that they're building to Sayaka Kurara versus Sai Kamatani, which it looks like that's the way we're going to. But a lot of people think they're going to do it in Yokohama. No disrespect for Sayaka Kurara. That's not a 10,000 seater match. That isn't. It's Sai Kamatani versus a few people. Suri, Kid, if they do the mask match, which we talked about, Micah, and possibly, I think really that's, and maybe Shuri playing back the Wrestle Kingdom match. I don't think that that's where it's going to go. I think that, and we talked about just a little bit ago, partner, that they usually put a title match on the final night of the Cinderella tournament.
Yeah, I was thinking this as well.
I'm thinking Saki Kashima is going to win here, and it's going to be because Sai Kamatani distracts Sayaka Kurara, and Saki either rolls her up or does the old over the top rope. Now, can Sayaka Kurara win the whole thing? It's a really good possibility. She's a favorite of a lot of people. Now, if you remember, and I'm not just saying this because my massive love for one Tam Nakano. If you remember, we all knew Sayaka Kurara was going to win the tournament. Yep. Tam was going to lose the loser leaves Stardom match, which those two things happened. And then we all thought Sayaka Kurara was going to cash her wish in to wish Tam back. What if, very much like WrestleMania 39 to WrestleMania 40, we thought Cody was going to finish the story, but they drug it out a year, and it made you wait even more. Tam has been radio silent for almost a year. Like, we're in March. Almost exactly a year. Almost a year. What if she does win the tournament and she wishes Tam back this year instead of last year? Because, again, look at all these wrestlers that have retired, Rob, over the last 2 years. Risa Nakajima, Nanae Takahashi, John Cena, AJ Styles just retired, Tanahashi, Risa Sarah. They've all retired, but they haven't gone radio silent. Like Himika, we see her do some stuff nothing from Tam. Like, we don't see her like on movies, TVs, cooking shows, nothing. For somebody that loves the spotlight, like Tam Nakano, maybe this is the whole thing. So is there a possibility Sayaka wins? Yes. Do I think she's going to make her wish to go against Saya for the red belt in Yokohama? No. I think that if she does win, that's when we get the Tam back. However, my official prediction, sorry, I know I went all over the place there. I just want to throw this out at you. My official prediction is Saki Kashima gets the win here because of the Saya Kamatani distraction, and that sets up Sayaka Kurara versus Saya Kamatani on the final night of the Cinderella tournament for the red belt. Rob, I just said a lot. What is your opinion on what I just said?
I agree with you on all counts. I think Sayaka Kurara they've been running a very, for lack of a better phrase, a very Tam style angle. Obviously, Sayaka Kurara turning up to the book signing under a hoodie and then sort of revealing herself was very akin to the Saya and Tam shenanigans that they had before All-Star Grand Queendom last year. We're not quite resorting to hitting each other with vehicles yet, but I'm sure that's coming. Maybe Saya drives a car into the Cinderella ring and runs over Sayaka Kurara. Who knows? I don't think that Saya. I mean, again, we don't know what the reaction is in terms of Japanese support for Sayaka Kurara. I know that obviously they're behind her. Do Stardom trust her versus Saya Kamatani to sell out All-Star Grand Queendom when President Okada has made it abundantly clear that he wants to get 10,000 people in that venue? I don't know. Had he not made that promise, or had he not made sort of his wishes known, should I say, his intentions, maybe they could. Maybe you could have Sayaka Kurara as the, quote unquote, the new Tam Nakano. I just don't see it happening yet. I don't think there's enough of a groundswell of support behind it, because I think the only way they run Sayaka Kurara versus Saya Kamatani at Yokohama Budokan is if Sayaka Kurara is the one that dethrones Saya. And I just don't see that happening. I think with more of a build, more of a story, potentially. I mean, if Sayaka Kurora wins and they've then got over a month, neither of these two are going to Vegas, I think that's telling as well. I don't know. I don't think so. However, I've got enough trust in Stardom that should they choose to do that, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and right, let's see what we can do then. Let's see how we can build enough of a Ferrari around this match to sell 10,000 tickets to Yokohama Budokan. Like I say, maybe it will be a stipulation match. I don't know. But either way, I agree with you. I think Saki Kashima wins this. Obviously, we haven't even talked about the rivalry between these two with Sayaka Kurora's mistranslations resulting in Saki Kashima taking an absolute pasting at the hands of Bozilla. So there is that there as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is your 30-second match, because you don't want Saki Kashima doing too much. Obviously, we know she's beaten up. She's retiring in just over a month. I think give her the win here. Again, would I be surprised if Stardom had Sayaka Kurora go the entire way? No, not at all. But for this, for me, I've got Saki Kashima. What about Amber, Matt?
Amber's got Saki Kashima as well.
As has Kirsty. There we go. Another full house. What made me laugh was Kirsty was saying she was filling in this bracket. Oh, well, no more of these because I've actually watched, I've seen them live. And having gone through, I think it was only Han and Sayarita and Saki Kashima from seeing them live anyway. Tomoka Inaba then versus Ann Kanai. Matt Turner, what are your thoughts on this one? I imagine a little bit easier to decide on this one.
Yeah, this is like the Maki Ito Kikyo Furusawa one. This will be great because Ann Kanai is really like under the radar, one of the most improved wrestlers on this loaded roster. But it's Tomoka Inaba. Again, Tomoka Inaba, another one that could win the whole entire thing.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't say no to that. But poor Ann Kanai, I think she's going to get a pasting here. Tomoka Inaba picks up the win and moves on to the next round.
Same. I've got Tomoka Inaba going quite deep, so I think Tomoka Inaba gets a fairly handy victory here, but I do think that Ann Kanai is improving all the time. She's so good in the ring, and I can't wait to see the moment that we get some sort of faction born of the EXV dissolution, obviously the unaffiliated wrestlers that we had beforehand. I can't wait to see what happens in terms of the future for Ann Kanai, because she is a very, very special talent. What about Amber? Who did she have?
Tomoka Inaba.
Tomoka Inaba. Kirsty disagrees with you, and she says, hold my beer, and has Ann Kanai going through to the semi-finals. Just a spoiler there. So she's clearly got an insider. Kirsty Meltzer, I tell you.
I don't know. See what's going on. Maybe she's putting a bet on it.
Maybe insider trading. Akira Kurogane versus Rina, Mr. Turner.
Another one kind of easy for me to predict, but I shouldn't say that because this could be one that busts a lot of brackets. I know a lot of people have Rina possibly winning this. Made it to the finals last year against Sayaka Kurora in a fantastic match. Made it to the final four of last year's 5-star Grand Prix. I see Rina going deep in this tournament. This could be one that gets close to the time limit, but I do see Rina picking up a win here over Akira. But another really great first round match I'm really looking forward to. But yes, I have the Pink Devil going on to the next round.
This is one we disagree on. I think Akira Kurogane is going to pick up a shock victory here. Again, we have got that over the top rope rule, and I think that's going to benefit someone like an Akira, especially as you know for a fact that Rina is going to act like an absolute brat during this match. She's going to take her time properly trying to hurt and embarrass Akira, and I think that's going to work against her. I don't think Akira Kurogane is winning the tournament by any stretch of the imagination, but I think the fact that she was the final person at Stardom Supreme fight in that EXV versus Mavida Loca match, I think they are clearly wanting to put some steam behind Akira Kurogane, and I think a first-round victory against Rina here could do just that. Who did Amber go for, Matt?
She has Akira as well.
There you go. See? Wonderful minds think alike. And Kirsty has gone with you. So she has gone for Rina as well. little bit of an underrated match that we didn't talk about. B. Priestley and Ami Sourei in the first round. This, for me, I think could be a double count out or a time limit draw. I think if there is one match, I'm not going to book any of those. I'm going to predict winners. But I think if there is any match that is going to go the time limit or the double count out or the double over the top rope, I think it's this one. But we'll see, Matt.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is a first round matchup of two former finalists of this tournament, Ami Sourei in 2024, obviously then losing to Hana, and B. Priestley. If you remember, 2018, her semifinal match with Momo Watanabe wind up being the finals because Mayu and Io went to the time limit draw. So I agree. I did the same way. I didn't book any TLDs. I think this one probably would go to the TLD, thus giving Rena in my bracket over the next round. But this was the hardest one for me to predict in the first round.
Yeah.
But I took B. Priestley getting the win here. Again, this is a flip of a coin. It can go. I wouldn't be shocked if it's double over the top rope. I wouldn't be shocked if it's B, Ami, or the time limit draw. A really, really tough one for me to call, but I got B. Priestley getting the win here.
Rematch from their 5-star Grand Prix then in your second round. I've got Ami Sourei. Again, it would not surprise me at all if both these women are eliminated in the first round. But for the sake of having someone go through, I think if you're going to have someone go through, it's Ami. Because again, I know Stardom are really high on Ami Sourei, and I think just keeping her in the conversation is really, really going to benefit her. Amber, who did Amber go for?
Ami Sourei as well.
Ami Sourei as well. And I know Kirsty went for B. Priestley, so I'll just fill that in on the brackets that we are editing as we talk. That's not even close to how you spell B. Priestley, but never mind.
It's BP, that's what I do. BP.
This match here, Hina versus Xena. This is going to be fantastic. Hina, of course, coming hot off the heels of a fantastic match against Konami in Corrigan Hall. Xena, really, really underrated wrestler. I'm a huge, huge fan of Xena. They face off here in the first round of the Cinderella Tournament. Matt, who do you have winning and why?
The fans. I think that we are going to win on this one. This is going to be great. Again, one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most in this first round, which is saying something because every single one offers something really special.
Really
I think
does.
Hina, even, and I always make mention, sometimes you can get over more in a loss. I mentioned on last week's show when I reviewed Hina versus Konami, that was Hina's best match of her career. And even in a loss, she came out looking better. I think that a little momentum is going to give her going through into the second round of the Cinderella tournament. That's why I have Hina going through. Is it a possibility Xena wins? Sure. But I just think how hot Hina is right now, I don't think you cool her off by letting her lose in the first round. So I have Hina getting the win over Xena. And again, what could be the best match of this entire first round, which is saying something.
I'll be perfectly honest. I think I can see either woman winning. I actually had Hina as my early favorite to win the entire tournament, if you remember. But
Sure.
having just had a white belt match, I'd be surprised if they then give her the Cinderella on top of that. So I've sort of cooled on that idea. But I have still gone for Hina to beat Xena in this match. But again, I'm with you. I think this could be one of the matches alongside potentially Sioriano and Fua Chan, Natsupoi and Tabata, and also B. Priestley and Ami Sourei that we are talking about in our review as one of the better matches of the first round. Amber, Matt?
Hina. She's got Hina as well.
And Kirsty has gone for Xena. So again, clearly knows something. We're getting to the end of these first round matchups then, and we move on to Lady C versus Azusa Inaba, Mr. Turner.
This is another tricky one for me to predict. These two had, again, very great job building up their match in the press conference, as if I wasn't pumped up enough for this. But I think you're going to need some heels to go into the second round. We saw Azusa went really far in last year's tournament, made it to the semifinals against Sayaka Kurora. I think Azusa Inaba picks up the win here, but I wouldn't be shocked if Lady C proves to all of us that the C in Lady C stands for Cinderella. But my official prediction is the younger Inaba sister moving on to round number 2.
One can only hope that the C in Lady C no longer stands for chaps. That's all I can say. However, the C in my Lady C does indeed stand for Cinderella. I am going with my heart on this one. I'm going with Lady C to go through because she's absolutely fantastic. For God's sake, put some steam behind Lady C. She's so good. I just want to see good things for her. I really, really do. Amber, who has she gone with?
C stands for Cinderella. She's got the
Hell
lady C
yes.
going into round number 2.
Kirsty has sided with you. She thinks it needs more heels. Her
Me and
bracket.
Kirsty agree on quite a bit here, my friend. We agree on quite a bit.
I mean, I'm not convinced that Kikyo Furusawa is being Maki Ito, but
No,
we'll see. We'll see.
I didn't agree with her on that
one. Final 2 matches then on the 7th. Again, Chunichi Hall in Nagoya. We've got Miyu Amasaki versus Rina Yamashita. Miyu Amasaki, the sole member of Neo Genesis in this year's tournament. Matt, does she make it through to the second round for you?
I think she does. I think Miyu Amasaki is on the short list of someone who could win the whole tournament. I mentioned this a few weeks ago on the show. I wouldn't be shocked if she wins the whole tournament just because she's somebody that just needs something, a little spark to get her to that next level. Winning the Cinderella tournament would be perfect. And then if she does win the Cinderella tournament, I would imagine her and Izumi would then challenge, O2 Line would challenge for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championships in Yokohama. That would be the way to go. Again, we're going to get into it when we get a little further in the tournament, what I think may or may not happen. But I think Miyu Amasaki picks this one up. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if she wins the whole thing because, again, she's on the cusp, like right there to break into that next level here on the Stardom roster.
So you think if she wins the tournament, doesn't go for the Y belt, you think she goes for the Goddess belts?
Yeah, I think it was a tall tale during the O2 Line versus BMI 2000 tag championship match that we had about a month or so ago. The crowd was so hot for a tag title change and for Miyu to get the win. When it had all those falsies with Miyu, it looked like Cork and Hall was going to lose their mind. When it didn't happen, it just like deflated the balloon. So I think it was like they think they need to look at that and be like, eventually, we got to get the belt on the baby faces before again, I mentioned this before with your partner, before the party goes on too long. You always want to leave the party early. I think O2 Line, obviously, Sorry Boy is always a great shout if they want to go that way with it. But I think O2 Line, for how hot Neo Genesis is and for how hot Miyu Amasaki and Izumi are as a tag team, I think O2 Line is the way to go because we've seen it before where we've had red, white, and goddess matches main event Cork and Hall and do a really big number. O2 Line main eventing Cork and Hall after Cork and Hall as the tag champs would not only be great business, but they'd have great matches. So I think if Miyu does win this, again, we'll get into it when we get deeper in the tournament. She's on my short list to win this. I think she cashes that into a tag title shot, which then just gets her over as a baby face because it shows how unselfish she is. She's thinking about not just her, but her and Izumi.
I would be surprised if she cashed in for a tag title shot. Again, it's wrestling, so there's always the opportunity to do something completely unique and completely different. And why not be Miyu Amasaki? I've got her going through against Rina Yamashita as well. I just think there's more you can do with Miyu in this tournament than there is for Rina. Who did Amber go for?
She's got Miyu as well.
And that, again, is another full house for Miyu Amasaki with Kirsty going for her as well, which leads us to our final first round matchup, Saya Ida versus Kyoka Kotatsu. Much as I love Kyoka, Matt, I imagine this was as easy for you as it was for me.
Yeah, before I give my official prediction, I want to thank Stardom for booking this match on my behalf because this is going to be my style of match. Kyoka Kotatsu,
lots of kicks and chops.
Yeah, right. Big lariats. Saeed is going to get the win here, but I'm going to have the Jack Nicholson Joker smile on my face the entire time for this match. Dating myself, 89 Batman. But yeah, Saida picks up the win here, and again, what could be the best match of this first round, which I'm saying that a lot, which just really goes to show you how excited I am for this tournament to start in about 12 hours time, partner.
Absolutely. I've also got Saida going through. Kirsty has Kyoka Kotatsu, though, with the upset over Saida, who was Amber got Matt.
Saida as well.
Saida as well, which brings us to the end of our first round. And that can only mean one thing, Matt Turner, and that is the second round. So looking back at your bracket, good sir, your second round matchup is Hanan versus Rani Yagami. Who have you got going into the quarterfinals?
Rana will not be able to pull off the Hurricanrana. Dun, dun, dun. Because are you
Good
ready?
Lord.
Yeah. I have Hanan going into the next round.
The only thing that I want Hanan to wish for is her old theme back.
What if? Hold on, let me cut you off. What if she wished for Micah's theme back? Like,
oh, now that we talk about people being unselfish and taking one for the team, I think we can all agree that's a thing we need. Why do you? Why have they changed?
I'm sorry, I should have said that. So
I can't. When I hear Micah's theme, it's just not as good. It's just not as good.
Real quick, I know he's got. I'll never. Sometimes you never forget where you are when a conversation happens. I'll never forget night 1, 2024, 5-star Grand Prix. Obviously, Micah loses the belt like the week or two before to Tora. So, like, Micah comes with this whole new. And I'm sitting on my couch. I'm not in the podcast. I'm sitting on my couch watching 5-star Grand Prix live as it happens. Micah comes out wrestling Natsupoi. You text me like, "That's it. I'm done. I'm never watching Stardom again." I was like, just relax. Like, I'm done with the podcast. You're on your own, brother, just because she changed your theme and her look. And then Mike and Natsupoi went out and had a banger. And you're like, I guess I'll stay on the podcast.
I don't want to say that I'm being a diva about this, but for God's sake, it's such a good song. It's like Megadeth coming out and covering Michael Bublé. It's like the potential is there. Why would you do that? Honestly, I'm so annoyed. I've gone for Rani Yagami. I've got Rana in the quarterfinals.
You mentioned Megadeth and Rani Yagami. I see what you did there. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. And Amber, who has she got?
She is Hanan as well, going on to the next round.
And Kirsty not only has Momokogo defeating Hanan, but also has her defeating Waka Tsukiyama to progress to the Cinderella Tournament quarterfinals. And who in their right mind wouldn't love to see that? Your next second round match, Matt, Maki Ito versus Fua Chan. Who have you got there?
I got Maki Ito getting the win here. I have her going into the next round. Again, they have a lot of steam behind her, Maki Ito. So I think it would mean more for Maki Ito instead of Fua Chan getting a little bit deeper in this tournament. Again, this next round is in the Corkin Hall. So and that'll take you to then the I believe the quarterfinals coming up, I think in the middle of the week. So yeah, we're gonna be busy with Joshi wrestling shows this week, buddy. Couldn't be any happier.
And then obviously the semifinals and the final, I believe, are all on the 15th at the Yokohama Budokan again, which we believe will probably be a pay-per-view. Nothing's been announced as of yet. I've also got Maki Ito defeating Fua Chan. Amber has Kikyo Furusawa versus Soriano. Who's she got there?
Soriano, which I'm looking at her bracket now, sets up a rematch of All-Star Grand Queendom 2 years ago, Hanan and Soriano. So I like that matchup. I definitely like that matchup.
Kirsty Akikyo Furusawa versus I put Soriano there. It was supposed to be Fua Chan. She's got Fua Chan going through as well, setting up a quarterfinal of Momokogo versus Fua Chan. We move on then to Aya Sakura versus Uriah Hime for yourself, Matt. Who have you got winning that one?
I have Aya Sakura getting the win there, good sir.
Yeah, I think that Aya Sakura is someone who, again, clip this, who I've got going very deep. I think a lot of people have going deep, and I'd be surprised if she doesn't go deep in this tournament. Amber, Aya Sakura versus Hanako, who's she got going through?
She has Hanako picking up the win.
Okay. I mean, everyone's allowed a wrong decision.
She married me, for it to be 14 years this year, so she has to stick with that one.
And Kirsty has Fukigen Death versus Hanako. And again,
oh my goodness, I want to see that match so bad. Oh my goodness. Hold on, time out, buddy. What match do you want to see more? Hanako versus Fukigen Death or Momokogo versus Waka? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I will be honest, I'm going to go Fukigen Death versus Hanako simply because Kirsty has got Fukigen Death going through to the quarterfinals. And honestly, the faith is real. The faith in the clown is real. It's
God,
one of
should
those
be
things that you
drinking.
need to wish and hope into existence. Final thing on the left-hand side of the bracket, Matt. You've got Rian versus Natsupoi. What are you thinking?
Natsupoi picking up the win here. If you remember how great their match was in the 5-star Grand Prix, Natsupoi's better. Natsupoi always getting better. Stone Cold Rion, one of the most improved wrestlers in all of wrestling. If that's the way that left side, bottom left-hand side of the bracket shakes up, which I'm pretty sure it's going to. I'm really looking forward to that match. But I have Natsupoi getting the win, advancing further in the tournament.
Moving on then, Amber.
Amber has not. Yep, Amber has Natsupoi beating Stone Cold Rion as well. Good sir.
Kirsty, unfortunately, the road for Rian ends for Kirsty as well. She's got Tabitha defeating Rian on that bracket. So that completes the left-hand side of the brackets. We move over now to the right-hand side. Matt, you've got Saki Kashima versus Tomoka Inaba in the second round. Who have you got winning that one?
Yeah, not a long match here, but I think Saki Kashima, her Cinderella journey ends in her final year with Tomoka Inaba picking up a win, which you'll see about 84 near falls in about 10 seconds. But Tomoka Inaba picking up the win for me.
I've got Tomoka Inaba going through as well. Again, Saki Kashima is retiring in April. I don't think she needs the victory, although it would be the most Saki thing in the world to win the Cinderella and then just retire. Who's Amber got?
Amber actually got Saki Kashima picking up the win.
There you go. Maybe she's thinking along the same lines as me. Maybe I've gone the wrong way. And then Kirsty has got Ankanai again going over Saki Kashima. So going deep is Ankanai in Kirsty's bracket. Matt, you've got Rena and B Priestley.
Rena picking up the win here.
Again, beating B Priestley twice in 2 matches. I've got Akira Kuragane versus Amisori. I'm getting Amisori over Akira. Again, I could see that going either way, to be perfectly honest. I think you could have Akira surprise Amisori. Again, give her that little bit of a push. But I know, again, Stardom are quite high on Amisori, and since I've put her going through against B Priestley, I'm going to have her going over Akira as well. Amber has also got that match, Akira versus Ami. Has she put any more faith in Akira than I have?
No, she's going Amisori, and I just realized Amisori's been posting pictures on Instagram of her last gear. She's like 2 or 3 new sets of gear. You're not doing the JOB when you have all this new gear, my man, even though I have her going out in the first round. But
I think you're forgetting Azumi in 2022 there.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. But no, she's got Amisori going on to the next round against Saki Kashima. Speaking of happy birthday, Azumi in 20 seconds.
There you go. Kirsty's got B Priestley going over Rena. So there you go. Her quarterfinal on that side is now Ankanai versus B Priestley. Matt, bottom right-hand side. Now you've got Hina versus Azusa Inaba, which is a really cool dynamic, actually. Who have you got going over there?
Yeah, because you got the dynamic of Azusa's tag partner is Hina's twin sister. So I think if that's the way it goes, great match. But I got Hina picking up the win over Azusa Inaba.
No, I can't remember who I've got. Oh God,
you have Lady C
versus Hina. Oh
yeah.
No. In my head, whilst you were saying that, because I hadn't got my bracket in front of me, whilst you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I think I'll have Hina going through. Completely forgetting that I got Lady C in there as well.
You want me to tell me Amber's pick to give you a couple seconds?
No.
I love this. This is it, folks. This is his first heart attack of the show. If you watch on YouTube, he's legit like pulling his eye out. Like it looks like he's stretching his skin over his eye. I
want only good things for Lady C. But they're not having as well. But I know. And I really like Hina, and she's really good.
I just realized this is an explosion of Team Classroom, which they've been looking really good on the tour shows as well.
I know that they're going to go with Hina. In a match with Lady C, they're going to go with Hina because of the upside, because of the youth, because of everything. But I am tempted just to go with my heart and just go, do you know what? Sod it, Lady C. But that would mean, well, saying that, I was going to say that does mean that 3 of the 4 quarterfinal spots on that side are God's Eye, but it's going to be God's Eye, whatever. I feel like I've betrayed Lady C. I'm going to go Hina. And I feel horrible saying that, and I deserve all of your ridicule. Amber, has she put any faith in Lady C?
Now, me and Rob both said Hina. Rob said, of course they're going to go with Hina. But I guess according to my wife, if you're married to a guy that's got a boatload of comic books and wrestling VHSs, you automatically pick Lady C because the C stands for Cinderella. Amber has Lady C moving on to the next round.
Kirsty had a Xena versus Azusa Inaba. She's got Xena going through there into the quarterfinals. Final quarterfinal spot then. Miyu Amasaki versus Saya Ida, which three of us have got as our second round matchup. Matt, Miyu versus Saya, the battle of the Idabashi versus the Amana Hashidate.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good one. I know a lot of people think Saida is going to win this whole entire thing, which
I
is
hope
great.
so.
Yeah, Gorilla Princess or Princess. Yeah, Gorilla Princess is what people hashtag it.
Sounds like something out of Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the banana peel. I'm going to go with Miyu Amasaki getting the win here again. I think there's a really good possibility Miyu wins the whole thing, so I'm going to have Miyu Amasaki going to the next round.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think we'll get a lot of dueling pinfalls with the Idabashi and the Amana Hashidate. But again, I feel like Saya Ida has only just challenged for the white belt. Great match against Konami. And I think they want to try and give someone else a rub. However, it is Miyu Amasaki in Stardom, and Stardom so very rarely put Miyu Amasaki over in singles matches. So I am a little bit reticent to have her win 2 in a row, but I'm going to have faith. The faith that I didn't show in Lady C, I'm going to put into Miyu Amasaki, which is potentially folly. Amber, Miyu Amasaki versus Saya Ida.
She has Saida going through. So Saida versus Lady C in her bracket. That's an interesting matchup.
That is a good matchup. And Kirsty had Miyu Amasaki versus Kyoka Kotatsu. And she's got Kyoka Kotatsu going through. So there you go. Which sets up a Xena versus Kyoka Kotatsu quarterfinal in that bottom right-hand side of the bracket. And tell me you don't want to see that, Matt Turner.
No, but I was re-looking at the bracket. You know what match I would really like to see, other than what I had picked? Xena versus Saida.
Oh, stop it. Maybe in the 5-star. Maybe in the 5-star. I am aware, by the way, that on the English translation of the bracket that we've got on screen at the moment, it does say India CL, is the bottom left-hand side that's taking on Nats, but it's not. It's Tabata. It's just a misprint.
Yeah, I just realized that now too. Wow. Yeah, either way, I'm excited.
It's not. I've just paid it up. It is Tabata. She's on the graphic. Hanan versus Maki Ito then, Matt. Who have you got going over there and why is it Maki Ito?
I'm having Hanan pick up the win here.
Yeah,
yeah. I have a theory, and I mean, we'll get there. Again, there's a lot of different possible winners for there, and there's a lot of things that make sense, which is another reason why the Cinderella tournament is going to be fantastic. I'm going to say Hanan picking up the win here. And again, you have to remember the winner of this last bracket that we're talking about goes to the Yokohama Budokan in the semifinals. So again, these 4 wrestlers that are going to be in this tournament are all going to have to be great wrestlers and proven draws. Now, I'm not saying Maki Ito isn't those things. Hanan just has more cachet in Stardom than Maki Ito. So you have to think when it's coming to my picks that you're going to have, again, 4 great wrestlers that can deliver and over-deliver and that can draw tickets and sell pay-per-view. So that's one of the reasons why I have Hanan going through over Maki Ito. Again, not saying Maki Ito's not those things. Maki Ito's been in Stardom a few months, where Hanan's been in Stardom pretty much since she's been in grade school. So
I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you there. That Stardom have, they've often put 4 not lesser known wrestlers, but if you look at, we looked at that tournament earlier where Waka Tsukiyama made it through to the semifinals, and you look at the year where it was Koguma, Mai Sakurai, Mirai, and was it Natsupoi as well?
Which in 2022?
Who did they have in 2023? So Mirai, Mai Sakurai,
Waka,
Amisori,
and
Koguma.
And Koguma, yeah, that's right.
It was something like that anyway. So there's no big hitter in there. So it wouldn't surprise me and especially if they've got a title match on top of this card as well. Again, they've just done. So the Sioriano Homecoming show, they've run that venue once before and drew 200 people to it. They drew over 1,000 this time, 1,039, I believe they drew. Stardom could quite literally have Ann Kanai, Kyoka Kotatsu, Yuri Ahime, and Kikyo Furusawa as the last four. No disrespect to those four women, obviously, but they could have those four as the Cinderella semi-finalists, and I think they would draw a decent house to Yokohama
and
Budokan
then do
at the time.
and then put Saya Kamatani versus Sayaka Kurora, and then go,
Yeah. So I think if you're going to be bold with your Cinderella semi-finals, this year's the year to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you work either way because you have to give somebody a shot, and we know that Hiro Okada has no issues not putting Hanako in a white belt match in Korakuen Hall, the main event against Starlight Kid, and draw really well, and then do it with Sayaka Kurora on back-to-back for the red belt on back-to-back Korakuen. So it's like, a lot of the underneath card are people that can dabble in the main event from time to time and still draw on certain shows. But again, Yokohama Budokan is one of the bigger venues. That's why I think that you're going to need some star power in those semifinals and finals, and then I think they should put a red belt match on there. Obviously, last year we got the Wonder match with Konami and Starlight Kid, but years past we've seen it's usually been a red belt match. Shuri and Utami. We had Himika and Shuri, Utami and Maika in years past. So I think you're going to see a red belt match on that final good. So, but again, we shall see, my friend. We shall see.
Yeah, we did have, obviously, we had Kid and Konami, didn't we, last year, like you said? So
Yeah.
I imagine we are going to have some sort of blockbuster match up there. I had Maki Ito versus Ronnie Yagami in my quarterfinal. I've gone Maki Ito there. Amber, Hannon, and Soriano. I mean, that's quite the second round matchup, really, isn't it? Well, quarterfinal matchup, sorry.
She got Soriano getting the win there, good sir.
Do you know what I was thinking? And this was something I was thinking for a long time. I was like, what if they do Soriano versus Natsupoi as the semi-final?
And it's in the same venue. Go on, I'm sorry.
That's what I'm thinking. It was such a huge... They teased it, and for it to be as big a match as it is to get through to the Cinderella final, the only reason I haven't gone with that is because I think if you were going to do it, you'd do it as the final. But again, it is a possibility. You could quite easily do Soriano as Nat and Natsupoi. And again, you talk about wanting to do major tickets in the building. That's obviously a way to do it.
Hey, I'm going to mess with your head now, Rob. You said if you're going to do that, do it as the final. However, it's the final. You don't know it's the final going in. You do know if it's your semifinal because that's what you're going to put on the poster because you know that match is going to be there. So there's a possibility as well. Again, there's a lot of right answers here. That Soriano versus Natsupoi produce show was in the same building, the Yokohama Budokan, where they sold it out. I believe it was in the Yokohama Budokan, wasn't it?
No, it was Ota Ward.
It was Ota Ward. Okay. Regardless, if that is your left-hand final, your semifinal, Soriano Natsupoi, no disrespect to all the other wrestlers in this left-hand bracket, they're the two biggest stars on the left-hand side. Hanan's up there. I'm sorry, without Fuki and Death. That goes without saying. Clearly. But
let's not be silly here.
So you have Maki Ito going to the semifinal.
I have Maki Ito. Amber has Saori Ano, and Kirsty has Fuwa-chan going over Momokogo. So again, I can see Fuwa-chan making it through to the final four. Again, it's a lot of exposure for Stardom. It's a chance to highlight Fuwa-chan as well. It would be a bold choice, but I certainly don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. I know that two of us, have Aya Sakura versus Natsupoi. Matt Turner, who do you have here?
I have Natsupoi setting up Hanan versus Natsupoi. It's kind of a fresh matchup. I know we've kind of seen it time to time on like tour shows, but we haven't seen it really in a big match in the last 2 years. So I have Hanan and Natsupoi in my semifinals.
I was hoping you were going to say Aya Sakura because Natsupoi certainly isn't going through and you were going to make my decision easier. But you haven't, and now I'm drastically rethinking my own strategy as to who is going through. So in my head, I've got Aya Sakura versus Maki Ito as a semi-final because you've got that rematch for the cutest of cute championship. And you can have Aya Sakura get some win back on her way to the final. Obviously, Aya Sakura was a huge focus in the press conference. Her tag team partner won it last year. There seems to be not necessarily dissent between her and Sayaka Kurora at the moment, but certainly a friendly rivalry. and Aya Sakura winning the tournament the year after Sayaka Kurora does it, I think is an interesting story point. But then I've got Natsupoi and Maki Ito, and I know that they've been building that. But do they build that? And they've got, hatred for each other from TJPW. Do they put that in the tournament, or do they wait to a pay-per-view and have them have an actual singles match?
Yeah, Golden Week coming up in May. You're gonna have to load up
Queen's Destiny coming up in May as well.
All-Star Grand Queendom. You're obviously gonna load it up with championship matches, but you're gonna load it up with special singles matches like we saw in years past. Shuri versus Chihiro Hashimoto. Last year we did see with Micah versus Chihiro Hashimoto. We did
Rina versus Yumika Hotta out of absolutely nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, obviously you can have your Suzuki versus May Sarah in a no DQ match. So it's obviously you're going to load up that show with your heavy hitters, your Sayas, your Micahs, your Shuris, your Starlight Kids, Azumis, so on and so forth. But you're going to need a special singles match. Is it Maki Ito versus Soriano that they do there? I know some people are saying, what about Fuachan versus Suri in Yokohama Arena? Again, another story for another day. But yeah, it's a tricky one, my friend. Consider like who you text me the other day, who you think is winning, and now you're really overthinking it. I love it.
Because in my head, I was like, right, Natsupoi's winning the tournament. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, Aya Sakura's probably winning the tournament. And then they released the bracket, and I deliberately didn't really look at it because I thought, I'll do it on the podcast. And now I've got an Aya Sakura and Natsupoi quarterfinal. So one of them is winning. Or do I throw a complete spanner in the works? That goes to a time limit draw. Maki Ito makes it through to the final on a default.
I think the internet would explode. Can you imagine if the internet was what it was in 2018, where we got B. Priestley and Momo Kogo as our makeshift final? Because now it was a great match. Don't get me wrong, but I
don't think there's as much. I don't think there will be as much of an issue because it's a one-night tournament. I think if it was a one-night tournament, you get certain graces that you can do. I don't think you get away with it now where it's over several nights.
Sure.
I think with it being condensed on one night, I think you can get away with it. For God's sake.
Again, you got to draw tickets at the same time. I'm really messing around. You got to draw tickets. Natsupoi is the bigger star. However, the Cinderella tournament, it catapults you to the next level. We've seen it with Julia, Momo Watanabe, Arisa Oshinki, Saya Kamatani. So where do you go? Do you go with a proven star? That's Natsupoi, or do you go with somebody that they've clearly been building for the last year and a half? In Aya Sakura, what is Rob going to do?
Why are you commentating on my pain?
Because it's awesome. This is what people tune in for. I'm getting us ratings and downloads. this everybody looks forward to. And the fact it's episode 300 and your return episode, no pressure on you, Rob. Going. I hope there's vodka in that thing that you're drinking, buddy.
I hate my life.
Flip a coin.
The thing is, whoever I choose here, spoiler, I've got winning the tournament. Oh, for God's sake.
I'm throwing something else at you. Who's going to sell?
Do not throw anything else at me.
It's opposite day, folks. So what I'm going to do is, now you said your pick right now, and you'll talk yourself out of it 10 times in the next 20 minutes. Your pick right now, who wins this whole tournament? Who's going to sell more magazine covers with the dress and the crown? Natsupoi or the high kick angel, Aya Sakura? And again, Natsupoi did say if she wins the Cinderella tournament,
Bushi Road.
Look at the pain. Oh, I can't wait. If you're listening to this in audio, folks, rewind. Go back to watch us on YouTube at about an hour and 23 minutes in. Rob's face just went tomato red. I'm glad you're wearing a white shirt. Like when Ric Flair would always blade and he would get it all over his hair.
It's such a stressful podcast.
It doesn't need to be. You don't have any money on this.
Oh, I know, but we have pride. Do we? Well,
the only pride that I have is the Pride DVDs upstairs.
Oh, do you know what? I'm getting Natsupoi. I'm doing the Natsupoi and Maki. I've taught myself into that as well. And I know for a fact now that Aya Sakura is going to win the tournament. And I'm going to kick myself. But also, would they do Sayaka? Do you know what? We're moving on because honestly, I'll just talk myself back out of it. Who has Amber got?
Amber's got Natsupoi winning, setting up Soriano and Natsupoi for the pay-per-view.
Which is a sensible suggestion.
Yeah, smart girl. Smart
absolutely.
girl.
Absolutely. Kirsty obviously has got Fukigen Death going through to the semi-finals because why would you not run Fuwa-chan? Why would you not run Fuwa-chan versus Fukigen Death at Yokohama Budokan, Matt Turner? I don't feel like you're taking this seriously now.
No.
Honestly, huge scoops from Kirsty Meltzer.
Oh man. They might not be able to fill the building. There's going to be like a line wrapped around it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, they're going to have to turn people away. Right, honestly, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, I don't care about this side of the bracket. I've literally, there's nothing left of me. I'm just a husk at this point. Matt, you've got Tomoka Inaba versus Rina and the top right-hand side of the bracket. Who have you got going through and why?
Another tough one, but I'm going to say Rina. They got a lot of steam on Rina. I can see Rina going out in the round 1, round 2, round 3, but I think for the way I have my final set up, I think it might be the coolest story, which again may mean nothing. But I do have Rina making it to the semifinal.
I've got Tomoka Inaba versus Ami Sourei. I'm going to Tomoka Inaba because I like a new blue hair. And honestly, I've given up trying to come up with a story. I just want Tomoka Inaba into the semifinals because she's great. Would I be surprised if Ami Sourei makes it all the way through to the final 4? Absolutely not. Would I be disappointed if she does? Absolutely not. But I want Tomoka Inaba in there because, again, she's great. Amber's got Saki Kashima versus Ami Sourei. Does Saki Kashima make it to the final 4, Matt?
She doesn't make it there like a thunderbolt. That's what I did there because Ami Sourei picking up the win, ending the Cinderella dreams of Saki Kashima. Ami Sourei making. I'm looking at her final 4. Wowzers! I tell you what, I'm going to pay money regardless to watch this, but I'd pay lots of money to watch her final 4. I'm really excited for it.
I feel like we're disrespecting Kirsty's final 4 here. And Kanai going over B Priestley here, by the way. Which again,
do you guys talk? Like, what are you guys talking about? And Kanai,
right? I feel like this tournament is there to elevate lower mid-card talent. And you look at who we've got here. Ankanai, a rookie. Fuwa-chan, a YouTube sensation. And Fukigen Death, a clown. You've got literally everything in there, Matt Turner. You've talked about you need something for everyone. Literally something for everyone.
You're not kidding. I mean, I wonder who she has on that 4th person.
You wait, my friends, because again, some fantastic matchups. Our final person then going through to Yokohama Budokan, and I can't wait for this episode to end now so that I can go and lie down in a darkened room. Matt, you've got Hina versus Miyu Amasaki, which I believe I've also got in the bottom right-hand part of the tournament bracket. Who is your winner there going through to the semifinals?
Semifinals for me would be Miyu Amasaki. Again, for reasons I said before, I think that she could possibly win this tournament and parlay that shot to a tag title shot. But I have Miyu Amasaki making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, had Hina not just had the white belt shot, I think we could very well have had her go all the way. But again, I feel like we could do some good for someone like Miyu Amasaki, which is what this tournament should be about. Amber, don't let me down now. Okay. Yeah. Lady C versus Sayarida. Who has she got going through?
She's got Sayarida, which then...
To be fair.
I mean, you do Ami versus Lady C, the Tokyo Towers, but Ami Sourei and Lady C, again, that Cork and Hall #1 contenders match they had at the end of last year. So her final 4 is Soriano versus Natsupoi, Ami Sourei versus Lady C. Now, Rob, before I forget...
It's Ami Sourei versus Sayarida.
I'm sorry, Ami Sourei versus Sayarida. I apologize. So that's a heck of a final 4. Before I forget, Indie Header, his final 4 is as follows. Fuwa-chan versus Aya Sakura and Rina versus Sayarida.
I like it. I like it a lot. Kirsty has Xena versus Kyoko Katatsu, and she's got Xena going through. So her semifinals, her final 4 are Fuwa-chan, Fukigen Death, Kanai, and Xena. So again, I think we all know whose tournament bracket is the better tournament bracket. Now, Matt, we have got 4 people in our semifinals. Who have you got going through to the final? Hannon versus Natsupoi, Matt Turner. Who is it going to be?
What a great matchup this will be if this is what happens. But I have Hannon winning, going to her second final in 3 years.
Interesting. I've got Natsupoi versus Maki Ito. In for a penny, in for a pound now at this point. I feel like I've got to commit. So Natsupoi through. Natsupoi defeats Maki Ito. I mean, again, that's going to be a great match, Natsupoi versus Maki Ito. There's a lot of history there. You can imagine the video packages that they'll be able to do as well, assuming that they have the rights to do any TJPW stuff, which I imagine they probably don't. But they can build up a lot of the real tension between the two. Amber's got Soriano versus Natsupoi. Soriano explodes. Who is winning that one, Matt?
She got Soriano going to the finals of the Cinderella Tournament.
Love that. What I don't love is the fact that the dream ends here, Matt Turner. There is no Cinderella clown in Kirsty's
go all
bracket.
in at this point,
I mean, what is the point of this? But I feel like you're throwing money away. 17,000 people inside Yokohama Budokan Kirsty has got, and she's got Fuwa-chan going over Fukikan Death. There'll be riots. It'll be like Vader versus Antonio Inoki. It'll be ridiculous. But yes, her first finalist is Fuwa-chan. Matt, Rina, and Miyu Amasaki, who have you got going through? I've got a feeling that you're probably going to go Miyu Amasaki.
Real quick, Andy Header has Fuwa-chan going over Aya Sakura in the finals. So my finals, Rina and Miyu. This is a tough one. This is literally, I did this in my car before my lunch break, and I was like, right. And then I stopped on this one because I wasn't sure what this way was going to go. Do I want a Hanan versus Miyu final or Hanan versus Rina final? And I went with a Hanan versus Rina final. So I have the sisters in the final of the Cinderella tournament.
I do like that. I do like that narrative. And to be fair, with 3 of them in the tournament, the odds of there being 1 or 2 of them in the final must be quite high, to be perfectly honest. I've got Tomoka Inaba versus Miyu Amasaki. No, do you know what? I'm not going to stress. I stressed enough about Aya Sakura and Natsupoi. And I'm just going to go for the final that I would like to see. I would like either of these women to get through to the final, but I'm going to go Tomoka Inaba.
I'm just letting everybody know that I really want to see Aya Sakura and Natsupoi, like for real, just so Rob is at his absolute wits.
Genuinely,
I should have picked this first.
Final. If that is the quarterfinal and Aya Sakura has the audacity to beat Natsupoi, I swear, and if it's like a 2-minute match as well, she wins via over the top rope, I will lose my mind. Oh, I'm getting angry. The match hasn't even bloody happened yet.
The tournament hasn't started.
Oh my god, I hate this tournament.
Are you watching this live, Rob? Are you Oh yeah, and then you're probably bailing out early to go to I'm watching this live. I have work too.
Amisori versus Sayarina for Amber. Does Amisori get revenge for that Korakuen #1 contendership match?
She does. She has Amisori and Soriano in the tournament. I believe that she had Amisori either going to the finals or winning the whole 5-star Grand Prix last year. She's very big on Amisori.
Loves Amisori. And Kirsty, by the way, the dream of Ankanai does end here. She has got a Xena versus Fuwa-chan final.
Wow.
Which, again, isn't out of the realms of possibility. Obviously, some of the matchups are a little bit questionable. Don't think Fukikan Death will make it to the semifinals, but we also thought that Rina wasn't going to beat Mayu Iwatani a couple of years ago, but she did. So there we go. Anything can happen in Stardom. So she has got Fuwa-chan versus Xena. Who has Andy Header got as his final?
He has Rina in Fuwa-chan.
Okay. I think he might have the same winner as Kirsty. And again, this is what I mean. She flukes her way to actual, legitimate possibilities for the winner. She did it the other year as well. Infuriating. Matt, obviously you have Hanan versus Rina. We say all the time that this is not a heel tournament. which means that I assume you're going for Rena.
This is when I was kind of figuring out who would win this. Again, Sakura's got a shot if they do the whole we're waiting year to bring Tam back. I said Miyu's got a shot with it. Natsupoi would be huge, just to bump her back up. And then again, you have a Bushi Road paid wedding for two of their wrestlers. There's a possibility there, but the reason why I went with Hanan to win the whole tournament, Hanan is my pick to win the Cinderella tournament. And again, the angle I'm about to explain could actually happen without her winning the Cinderella tournament. I think Konami is going to be a second for Rena in this match, and you're going to see Konami getting involved in a little bit. And maybe it might be something where Rena, very much like Momo Watanabe on the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, is kind of shooing away. Like she wants to do this on her own because Momo Watanabe and Azumi were like sisters until the Queen's Quest breakup. Hanan and Rena are legit sisters. So I think there'd be different levels to the story. If Hanan wins this, and she's like, I'm not going to go after Saya Kamatani. Konami, I'm going to go after you. Because the last two people you beat are my sisters. You beat Rena and you beat Hina in Cork and Hall for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. That's why I'm going after you. Now, can you do that without her winning the Cinderella tournament? Sure. Would have put a little bit more steam behind Hanan and do a little bit of an angle, a little bit of a run-in with Konami on this match. The possibility. And then again, especially with Rena be like, no, I don't want your help. Because Rena, very much like a Starlight Kid a couple years ago, is a heel that's only one angle away of becoming a big baby face. And we saw what it's been doing for Starlight Kid over the last year and a half. So I think Hanan gets the win here. She right away, she makes mention, whether it's at this show or whether it's the finals of the next Korakuen, makes mention that she wants to challenge Konami because Konami, you beaten up my two younger sisters. Now I'm coming for revenge, and I'm going to take that Wonder of Stardom championship. That is a match that you can build towards Yokohama as your semi-main event that would draw a lot of interest and a lot of tickets. And who can't feel that? If you're a big brother or a big sister and you have the bully, which Konami is, that's her role, picking on the two younger sisters. And even if the one younger sister is hanging out with the bully, but that bully still is a bully to her, and then the older sister comes up and beats up the bully, that puts a lot of steam behind. You can relate to that. It's a relatable storyline. So I think Hanan wins. I think she challenges Konami at Yokohama, and then Hanan finally becomes Wonder of Stardom champion. So that is my pick. That is the reason for my pick. But can I see her losing to Momo Kogo in the first round? Sure. Yep. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but I'm excited for this tournament. And I think Hanan is going to win her second Cinderella tournament, which will be interesting because we've seen Mirai win two. They were back to back. We've seen Mayu win the first two. They were back to back. So it'll be cool to see Hanan win two, but be the first wrestler not do it back to back. Do it in 2024 and in 2026.
The Grover Cleveland of the Stardom universe. There you go.
Look at you, buddy. Or some other guy that's
You don't need to talk about him. Don't need to talk about him.
Ooh, somebody in my house gets real fired up when we mention that WWE Hall of Famer. Yikes.
Understandably. I mean, who does like Drew Carey? I mean, honestly. I mean, I've got Natsupoi. I feel like I've already played my hand by my absolute biblical head loss during the quarterfinals. Again, I don't think Hanan necessarily needs a Cinderella win to get that white belt match. I think you're absolutely right. I think it will be Hanan versus Konami All-Star Grand Queen for the white belt, and I think that'll be where Hanan dethrones her. I think this potentially gives us Natsupoi versus Saya Kamatani at All-Star Grand Queendom, potentially with a stipulation of some description. I still prefer Maika versus Saya Kamatani as the big matchup for All-Star Grand Queendom, but we are running out of time to set that up. I mean, there is every possibility that the Cinderella tournament winner will wait until after All-Star Grand Queendom to cash in their wish. But I'm going Natsupoi. I think there was a lot of momentum behind Natsupoi before she lost in Sapporo. And it felt like with the way they were building that, it seemed like another shot was imminent. I feel like a Cinderella victory here, even though over the last couple of years it has been an undercard tournament. I think narratively, Natsupoi winning this makes sense I've still got people like Miyu Amasaki making the semi-finals. You've got Maki Ito versus Natsupoi in the semi-finals as a big match up there. Tomoka Inaba going deep. Akira Kuragane beating Rina. You've still got surprises there. You've still got chance to highlight talent. But I think for the sake of a narrative purpose, having Natsupoi win here and go after Saya Kamatani's red belt isn't necessarily a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Amber, then Matt Turner, who has she got?
She got Soriano winning the whole thing. Soriano winning the whole thing. So it's so funny. Me and you both agreed, like, yeah, she doesn't need the Cinderella tournament win. And I was like, that's who she's got winning. I mean, it could make sense because we Soriano and Sai Kamatani again sold out Sumo Hall. So why not run it back? Whether it's at a Korakuen, whether it's at the Queen's Fest show, if Sai Kamatani retains, or what if Natsupoi defeats Sai Kamatani on the way to some show in the summer, and you do Soriano there, or maybe Soriano and Natsupoi, they make another run towards the tag belt since they never lost them back coming up on 3 years. So it's like a possibility. It's a possibility. But yeah, she's got Soriano beating Ami Sori in the finals.
And Kirsty has Fuwa-chan going over Xena for Fuwa-chan to become the 2026 Cinderella Tournament winner. Matt Turner, who did Andy Hedda have?
He's got Rina winning the whole thing, which is, again, a really, really good shot. Because what if Rina, it's her challenging? Maybe they do the babyface turn when Momo Watanabe comes back. And then it's like Rina and Momo are kind of like the really cool heels. I know that's what hate kind of is now, but you get my drift. They're kind of like Donald Del Mundo. And what if Rina challenges Konami again, or Rina challenges Sai Kamatani for the World of Stardom Championship? Again, I don't think that's a match in Yokohama, but maybe that's a match that they do on the way to Yokohama or after, should Kamatani retain. I don't think anybody's looking at it like that. I don't think anybody would say no, because Rina is massively over in a lot of these venues. And again, she's just one thing away becoming a monster babyface, winning the Cinderella tournament and then having, doing a babyface turn, I think would be a huge game changer for Stardom and Rina. So that's a really good possibility as well, my friend.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just to recap, Matt Turner has Hanan winning the Cinderella tournament. I have Natsupoi winning the tournament. Amber has got Soriano. Kirsty has got Fuwa-chan. And Andy Hedda has Rina, which of course means that Yuna Mizumori will win the Cinderella tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, that does bring us to an end of our Bracketology episode. Obviously, we are mere hours away from the start of the tournament as you are listening or watching this episode. Love to know who you have got going deep in this tournament. Who are your winners? Who are your MVPs of the tournament? And what surprises has your tournament bracket got in store? I'm going to wrap this up now because I've actually got to edit it and get it up tonight. So we're going to wrap it up, Matt Turner. But fingers crossed you have enjoyed this. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We are everywhere. Patreon.com/World of Joshi, where you can listen to these episodes ad-free for as little as $1 a month, as well as a whole host of bonus content as well. You can check us out on social media at WOJ Wrestling. You can talk to me on Twitter. It's at RealRobGoodwin. Matt Turner, where can they find you, good sir?
Folks, questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Or guys, you can get a hold of me on the email, matt@worldofjoshi.com is one way to get a hold of me. Or the classic, you can always get me back on the classic, which is the Stardom Cast 22@gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for one of my favorite episodes as Rob almost knocks over his microphone at the tail end of episode 300. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. Like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because when all together, everybody's different. Everybody's special.